Welcome to the island, ladies and gentlemen. I am super stoked. Not only do I have my man Tony. What's going on, Tony?
Hey, how's it going?
We're shooting this literally about an hour before the opening kickoff for the football season. Kansas City Chiefs against Houston tonight. And I was able to get me some Mahomey in the draft the other night that we had. So I am super stoked. It's going to be great. Tony, how excited are you right now?
Well, first of all, if you remember the last meeting between these two, oh my God, it was the best game of the year. At least the highest scoring. I mean, for me, I love the high scoring ball games. So to open the season, not only is it like Christmas morning, you're also opening with this game. So I'm hoping it's going to be another like 50-40 kind of matchup.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm really stoked. I'm excited.
There's so many things that are going to go on. First of all, is Mahomes going to like go on some kind of record pace and throw like 56 touchdowns this year? Is Clyde Edwards-Helaire going to be like a superstar back like Kareem Hunt was? There's so many question marks. And then Houston, they got new weapons, David Johnson, and you got Brandon Cooks if he plays tonight. I'm super excited to see what's going to happen, man. It's going to be a great game, I think.
Right. I feel the same way. And obviously, I got Kelsey in like 5 of my leagues or something, so I'm hoping he does that, of course. But yeah, I think the biggest questions may be on the Texans side, but Helaire is going to be the big one because, like you said, if you go back to like the Kareem Hunt days when he was going off the first 8 weeks of that season, you put Helaire in an offense like that, and he's able to do half of what Kareem Hunt did. Their team is just better, Super Bowl champs.
It can be scary. So I had a chance to actually grab Helaire in our draft the other night. And I went a different direction, and we're about to look at that board and go over that draft because it was wacky. It was fun, but, man, there was some crazy picks and some picks that fell that shouldn't have fallen. And we're gonna analyze that board right now. So let me pull up the board for you.
Cool.
All right, so here's the draft board from the other night. This was done, about 2 nights ago? On Tuesday, the day after Labor Day. Dirty Dozen Invitational. And as you can see here, these are the first 8 rounds of the draft. Tony, you're the poop team, of course, because you love poop.
Yeah.
And I'm this one here. I'm going to be number 7, the Bandits. That is me. So you took McCaffrey with the overall first pick. No surprise there. Now, as we go through the draft, Barkley, Elliott, Eckler, Kamara, Henry, all the running backs go in the first round. Eckler's a crazy pick at number 4. What do you think?
I like Eckler, absolutely. I don't know what to say to that. I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, he could have a great season. I wouldn't do number 4.
I feel like if he would have been more patient and waited till the second round, coming back, he probably could have got him there.
Absolutely. Some of the other leagues I'm in, it looked like he was definitely a second rounder. He's a running back number 2. Right. I mean, he has potential to be a 1, but in that system, new QB, all that stuff, it's going to be a little suspect. So I would take him there. And I don't think anybody in our league but him would have done that.
And how excited are you to get Christian McCaffrey?
Very. When was the last time you saw me get the number 1 pick?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while for sure. I think you got the number 1 pick in the league that I run many years ago, but yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while for sure. I'm stoked. Of course, I go with I get all down on myself and negative, kind of like, your number 1 pick. He's never going to be that good. He's got a new QB, but come on, he's McCaffrey.
Right.
If he has a little bit, like a few less carries, he's still going to have a tremendous season. It's well worth the first pick. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, to have a guy like McCaffrey on your team that you can root for, I mean, what's better than that? So now, okay, after those running backs go, I didn't expect 6 running backs to go. Not in our leagues here where quarterbacks score a lot of points. I figured Mahomes would be gone for sure. He falls to me. Now, my plan all along was to get Joe Mixon there at number 7 because I figured he got his contract. I love Joe Mixon. I'm a little weary of Edwards-Helaire just because I'm not sure if he's going to be the featured back all the way this season. So, and I had Cook last year, so I didn't want to take him. So I zeroed in on Mixon. Well, I got Mahomes, so I'm super excited. Little did I know that he would Mixon would make it all the way back to me in round 2, and I got Joe Mixon in the second pick. How crazy is that?
I'm still stumped over this.
Yeah.
If you remember a few weeks back, I was not, because I'm a Bengal fan, I was not quite on the Mixon as, a first rounder. I've kind of jumped on that bandwagon ever since, been following the training camp, his workouts, his attitude, contract, all that stuff. And it really seems like it's coming together. For you to get him in the second round is actually bullshit. But
yeah,
wow, dude, you would probably, I would lose sleep over getting that QB and then come back and get that running back. That's a double whammy.
Yeah, he's one of the only surefire hammer 3-down backs that was on the board at, to be honest, where I was picking in the first round. For him to slide all the way to the second round, there's not even an injury concern on him. That shouldn't have happened, but that's what happens when guys take Eckler in the first round. People fall. So I got lucky there. I feel blessed that I got Mahomes and Mixon. That's a good start for my team. Then we go down the line. Devontae Adams and Hopkins go. Kittle with the guy that took Eckler takes Kittle. He's a San Francisco fan, so that didn't surprise us. And then Julio and Mike Evans. Now you get your boy Juju Smith-Schuster. Now you had him a couple years ago when he blew up with Roethlisberger, right?
Yeah, I think it was 2 seasons ago.
So you're thinking it's a rebound year for Juju here?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I don't know. I don't even see how you could argue that. The only argument you got is like, oh no, Ben Roethlisberger's not 100%.
Right.
Come on, he's been waived to play. What I mean by that is by the doctors. He looks good. He's clean bill of health. He's Big Ben, dude. I mean, come on.
Exactly. And if he's been throwing with a hurt shoulder or elbow actually all this time, and now it's a healthy elbow, I mean, I think he could be great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I wanted to get Smith-Schuster on the way back in round 3, but you weren't going to have that. Travis Kelce, you double up there at round 3. You get the tight end. Kelce fell to you. That's a great pick. Are you happy to have Kelce tonight?
Oh yeah, of course, of course. I love I took him. You ready for this? As I took him as my first pick last year in this league.
Yes,
if you remember, that was my first pick. I chanced on it. I don't know anybody who would ever pick a tight end for their first pick, but he didn't even have like a tremendous season. I think he had a little bit higher numbers the year before.
He did.
But it's still consistent numbers, good games, several 100-yard games, or games where he had a lot of receptions. And in this league, he always scored fairly well. So he's well worth a third-rounder this season.
Yeah, that's tremendous value. You have to take him there. I mean, he should have gone in the second round. Again, though, that's what happens when people take weird picks. Dudes fall to you, so you got to take them. So then we go Connor, Godwin, Cooper. Mark Andrews goes in the third round as well, and I think that's a little bit of a reach. But if you're big on Mark Andrews, he was the best tight end on the board. The Leprechauns already had Kamara and Hopkins, so they're pretty stacked right there. And then we go Galladay, and this is my boy here. I got him in every freaking draft, A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
If he lets me down this year, I'm going to be pissed off because I swear I got him in every draft, so it's crazy. Cooper Kupp, Raheem Mostert, Adam Thielen, Mecole Hardman in the third round. What happened there?
Who was that?
That was our boy Newton.
I don't know. Again, speedster, very fast, got some decent hands. But when you got going back to the tight end, you go back to Kelce, you go back to Hill, and you go back to your new running back, that puts Mecole Hardman down on the list. Why take him in the third round? Not my cup of tea.
He took him 11 or 12 rounds too early. I honestly think he probably could have got him in the last round. I don't think anyone would have drafted him.
Easily. I agree. I like him. He's good. I look at him as more of a handcuff, like a fourth running back. If you got Tyreek Hill, pick up Hardman or Sammy Watkins or something like that. I'd rather have Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, and you know what? Mecole Hardman could blow up.
He could
go off, and it was still not the right pick.
Right.
No matter what, he could have got him, like I said, almost any other time in the draft. But hey, when he did that, I was like, okay, who's gonna fall to me? Who's gonna fall to daddy? And that's Odell Beckham falls to me in the 4th round. Now I've got my cousin in my ear, and we're talking about getting our guy that we wanted to get. It was a running back there in the 4th, and I'm like, we can't. We got to take Beckham. If, like we've said in the past, he might be one of those comeback player of the year, top 5 to top 10 receivers. He falls to the 4th. You got to take him, right?
Absolutely. I think he's going to be a 6 or 7 this year for sure. Maybe 5, like you said.
Yeah.
There's a few people sorry to interrupt, but when you go to, again, you go to Pittsburgh and Juju, you go to Beckham, these guys have no choice but to tee off this year. I think it's really going to harm their future and their contracts and their teams if they don't do something this year. And Beckham obviously has the talent to do it. That team will implode if Baker is not getting the ball to Beckham this year and Beckham doesn't do something. And I think they're ready to do it, and they will do it.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have a proven track record here. All these guys in the draft, they're taking guys with a lot of upside that have never done it before. They're taking risks with Clyde Edwards-Helaire and guys like that, Jacobs. These are guys that don't have that long track record, whereas Beckham and Schuster, these guys have caught 100 balls before. They've gone over 1,000 yards before. They've had several touchdowns before. And when they're falling to you in these rounds, you got to take them, man. These are proven commodities.
Solid security, absolutely.
Exactly. So now we're going to slide down to the end of the round where you get 2 picks. You go Russell Wilson and Le'Veon Bell. Now, I'm not a fan of Le'Veon Bell, but you got him in the 5th round. That's value.
I would say it's value, but I also say it's risky. There's, I'm just going to be straight up with you. That was the one when we talked either after draft where I was like, I did not really want him, but I made some decisions before it. And this is where you get into trouble when you have a partner. When you have a partner in your team, it's like, it's give and take. You can't sit there and argue because everybody says, well, you got to have a plan. You got to mock draft. I'm like, but again, let's go back to Austin Eckler as their 4th pick. That screws up an entire mock draft. And that's why I take mock drafts with a grain of salt, because we have some goofball in there that's going to make a weird pick, and it screws it up. Throws a thorn in the side of everything. If Le'Veon Bell is the Le'Veon Bell of a few years ago, everybody's going to be in trouble, I personally think, with my team.
Yeah, especially when you have McCaffrey.
When you have McCaffrey, it could be a huge whammy for me. But I will see. I'm not going to lie. I'm not super confident with that pick. But like you said, it wasn't a bad pick because for what was left at that point, I really needed to get a solid running back. And you could argue some of these running backs that went later, Kareem Hunt, love that guy. Is he going to get the ball as much as Le'Veon Bell? Is he going to score as much? I don't know, but he's definitely not going to get the ball as much. So
honestly, it can go one or two ways. If Bell returns to form, you've got gold in the fifth round. That's the chance you can take, though, when you have a guy like McCaffrey to lead off the draft. When you have McCaffrey in your backfield, you can take chances at the running back the rest of the way.
Yeah,
because McCaffrey starts every week, and he's the best running back in football most likely. So it affords you the opportunity to take some risk. And I'm not really mad at you for taking Le'Veon Bell. That's not a bad pick there at all. Now, Russell Wilson, you're going to have to sell me on this one because you took Russ, which is good value in the 4th round, but you took him ahead of Dak Prescott and Kyler Murray and Drew Brees.
Mm-hmm.
Explain.
Now again, I'm gonna definitely blame my partner. I do like Russell Wilson a little bit more than Drew Brees this season.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler Murray, I have in a couple other leagues that I took where I could have had Russell Wilson. He really won. Russell Wilson did real well for him last year. I don't want to be boring here, but I can't quite explain those 2 picks too much. I can argue till I'm blue in the face over Russell Wilson, and again, I personally feel that it's all kind of close. But there's the thing there. Me and my partner are not big fans of the Cowboys system. I understand Dak put up the points last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had higher numbers than Russell Wilson. He was ranked 1 or 2 positions ahead of him. But we are kind of going on a gut. So in defense to my partner, we didn't like the Dak Prescott pick as much as Russell Wilson. That's the only argument I have.
I actually think Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, and Kyler Murray are going to finish pretty similar, to be honest. I was just busting your balls. I got no problem with Russell Wilson. I actually love his weapons. I love DK Metcalf. And they re-signed Josh Gordon. They still got Lockett. They got Greg Olsen. They got weapons. And if the only problem is the damn coach needs to unleash Russell Wilson and let him throw down the field. Stop running the ball so much.
Yeah, true. Very true.
So we'll see what happens there, but I really don't have a problem with that pick. So we're going to go through, skip a little bit down to round 5, go down to where I picked Antonio Gibson. I like Antonio Gibson. I don't love this pick. Of all the picks I made in the draft, this one was the shakiest for me. However, because I got Brown and Beckham back-to-back, I was kind of left out in the cold at the running back positions for the guys I wanted. So I had to take the next best guy, and that was Antonio Gibson. He's got upside. He's the starter. We'll see. What do you think about Gibson?
He definitely has upside. Again, I have him in a few leagues. I like him. I wouldn't say I love him. I kind of probably feel the same way as you. When you get to that point, you need a starting running back. You made the decision that you needed to make. And it's another one of those, if he does well, you're good as gold. If he doesn't, it's not going to kill you. He's still the starter. How long he's going to be a starter, we'll see. But they seem to love him over there. So,
yeah,
and you're talking him up. So we'll see. But I like it. I think it's an okay pick, man.
Yeah, I'm just a little worried about it because I don't have a second starter. I have Mixon. Gibson, if something happens and he doesn't win that job, well, now I'm probably looking to play 3 receivers. Yeah, so I'm okay with the pick with Gibson. I had to do it. We'll see what happens there. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go through into the next round, which is the 6th round coming back. I get my boy yet again. I have him in almost every league, Marquise Hollywood Brown. Again, this is just like the other Brown. We have both Browns. If these guys fail to come through for me, my teams are going to be hurting because I have them in all my leagues. So do you like Marquise Brown?
Oh, yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome. You know, he was the big play guy last year. So I shouldn't say I hear. I don't know anything. I just read. But I think they're going to be throwing some more long balls this year instead of doing the running thing because they also know the teams are going to get the number of Lamar Jackson. So you're hoping you're going to get some of those big plays, at least more than the big plays he had last year. So they're there. Is he your first guy, second guy? Not really, but you have that replaced. Going back to A.J. Brown, I think he's the main man. He's going to be getting the ball. You're going to get your points. Brown, he's dynamic. He's exciting. And we're just hoping for additional large plays out of him. That's what we want. And you're probably going to get him. So I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, so now we're going to go down a little bit longer, and you're going to notice a run on defenses, which in the 6th round, again, it's too early, but this is what happens. So the guy that's the San Francisco fan takes the 49er defense, and everyone's like, not surprised because he does this every year, but that's way too early. The defenses do score a lot in this league, but we have watered them down a little bit from years previous, so the Ds probably should have gone a few rounds later. But because he takes the Niners, people panic, and the Ravens and the Steelers go on the next 2 picks, and that opens up you to get A.J. Green, a wide receiver 1 in the 6th round. How do you feel about that
one? Just like every other question you've been asking me, it's one of these. Listen, again, he's still their number 1. He had a year off, a good amount of time off.
So, yeah, if A.J. Green stays healthy, I mean, the guy's capable of 1,000 yards, 80 catches, some touchdowns. I mean, you got to love that pick in the 6th round, the end of the 6th round, by the way.
Yeah.
So then when you took the Bills next, I was like, oh, crap. The run is definitely a real thing. I need to get a defense soon.
Yeah.
I like the Bills D actually. I think I have them third overall behind the Niners and Steelers. You grab them. Are you a big fan of the Bills D this year?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, they looked good last year. I think they're a little more well-rounded this year. Um, I did kind of what everybody else does. Like you said, you end up sort of panicking. But I was like, in this league, I just did not want to end up with like another 10 or 12th ranked defense.
Mhm.
And I had three on my list. It was Steelers, 49ers, and Bills that I like. And when I was like, for my top three, if the Bills were still there, I was like, I'm doing it. So once he did the Russell Wilson, Le'Veon Bell thing, kind of, I was like, I want my AJ Green and I want a defense. So he sort of backed off, and that's what we did. So I'm stoked about it. And I don't think I got another defense, did I? I didn't get it back. Oh no, I ended up picking up the Eagles also.
Yeah,
but yeah. That's what I'm saying. I wanted a top five this year. Like I'm getting a top five, so I grabbed him.
So this is the point where my cousin's in my ear, and I'm telling him, dude, look, all these Ds are going. Even though it's early, we need to get a top defense, or we're going to be left out in the cold. And it goes down the way, and you see the Colts go and the Patriots go, and now we're at pick 7 of the 7th round. And I basically I overruled my cousin, and I said, we're taking the Vikings here because we need a top defense. And I'm high on the Vikings defense. I think they're a top 5 defense. I like the addition they got from the guy from the Jaguars that they traded to them.
Oh.
Their front line is just sick. I think they're going to be pressuring the quarterback, getting sacks, strip sacks, fumbles, all kinds of great stuff. So I like the Vikings. But again, too early. All these Ds went too early, and they kind of messed up my plan there.
Yeah, no, I get you on that.
All right, so then it swings around to round 8. Coming back to me, I get Evan Ingram, who shouldn't have fallen that far. And I really like Ingram as a top 5 tight end, so I was happy about that pick. Now it's going to swing back to you to close out round 8, and you got Devontae Parker, who I'm very high on. I think that was good value there. Devontae, what do you think?
Yeah, we both in our partner love him.
Mm-hmm.
He has some huge games. Love watching the guy play. When you go, I still worry about the AJ Green pick. I think he's still tremendous talent, like we said. But it's the rookie quarterback missing a year. I need some backup. And I think Parker's going to do it. And Parker also, you can start him on the bye weeks. He may end up being better than AJ Green. So
absolutely,
let's grab him. And we did.
Parker down the stretch last season was a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL.
And I thought he was just top 10.
He was top 5, I believe, the last 6 weeks of the NFL season. So if he found – and he's got the same quarterback. So if he found that connection and they continue that, you might have an assassin in your wide receiver core there. So I like the pick. That would have been my next pick, so you stole him from me. I ended up we're going to go down to the bottom of the board here.
Okay.
So you also grabbed Montgomery on that turn, which is good value. You got a starting running back, probably one of the last few in round 9. So I like that pick a lot. Yeah, your team, I know you mentioned to me that you weren't super happy about your team, but I got to say, every round you got value. I think you did really well in the draft so far, Tony. I got to be honest.
I appreciate it. I think it's still going back to the 4th and 5th round for me. I think I was just being a little bit bitter about it because it's like I didn't envision being stuck with Le'Veon Bell as much as I love him. To me, I didn't want to be as risky as him. You know me, I like to take risks. And I'm like, you know what? I just want to stay afloat. And I don't want to be that, what if? Let's see what happens. And I got a few of those. So I always gravitate towards the risk. As we close out, going down the list, I'm happy with the rest of my picks. So, I'm just being hard on my team, I guess.
No, you did fine. You got Kerryon Johnson, another starting running back. We'll see how that plays out with Adrian Peterson coming in there. The Eagles defense, you partner them up with the Bills. That's a strong couple of units. Ryan Tannehill is your backup quarterback. Hey, that's my boy throwing to A.J. Brown. So we were looking at Tannehill as well. You got that kid Jefferson in Minnesota who could be sneaky, good value there. I like him a lot. And then you got a tight end that half the people in our league had not heard of, but is actually very capable of being a top 10 tight end, and that's Dan Arnold for Arizona. That was a sneaky good pick. I like that one a lot. You must be high on him, right?
Yeah, I am. And also, again, my partner is from Arizona, so he's a huge Cardinal fan. He told me about him 2 months ago, and I started researching. I knew about him, and I didn't know much, like most. And then even watching some of the morning shows, they've brought him up from time to time. And I'm like, all right, I like this guy. So we grabbed him. And I wouldn't say he pushed me into it, but he's like, I want him. I'm like, I know you want a couple of your Cardinals, but I could not disagree. I like this kid.
Mm-hmm.
I say give him 4 to 6 weeks and see where they're at, but I think he's going to come through.
Yeah, and he's backing up Kelsey on your team, so you're just taking a flyer on him. Then these are the rounds to take flyers in the late rounds. So
right.
Excellent. And then you got Sly to finish off your team. Tony, your team, you probably had one of the best drafts in the league. I'm saying you're one of the top 2 or 3 teams. So I really think you should really like your team. I like it a lot. So I got Marlon Mack in that 9th round, followed it up with Sonny Michel, and the only reason why is because I needed running backs, and those are 2 starting running backs for the time being.
Yeah, heck yeah, they are.
So I picked up the Saints to partner with the Vikings. I like the way the schedule works out for those 2 teams. I got Jerry Jeudy in the 12th round, and I'm super excited, but I'm also super sad because I heard today, I don't know if you heard the news, that Cortland Sutton injured his shoulder. He's having an MRI as we speak, and it could be something serious. So that's not the way I want Jerry Jeudy to go off, by exploiting an injury, but it does open things up for him to possibly be the number 1 receiver. Had you heard the news about Cortland Sutton?
I just heard it a little bit ago.
Yeah.
I didn't know how bad it was, so you're giving me the news on the severity of it.
It could be minor. Just the way they were reporting it, it sounded like he was very slow to get up. He was holding his shoulder, and they went directly to the hospital to get him an MRI. So it doesn't sound great to me, but I'm hoping for the best because I'm a big fan of Cortland Sutton. I don't think I drafted him in any of my leagues, but I really like the guy. He's a stud. So, yeah. Then I get my boy Brashard Perryman. I went with Joe Burrow just because, you know what? This kid, what are you hearing in Cincinnati? All I hear is glowing things about Joe Burrow. What do you hear?
Pure confidence, which is the key for a rookie. Pure confidence. He doesn't have the happy, crazy feet. He doesn't get nervous. He has a clear mind. He's not perfect, but it's up here. You get that together. It was just like Tom Brady when they pull him off the bench, bring him into a Patriots game, and he's a young kid. And he wasn't – Tom Brady is unique because he wasn't a first-round draft pick. But it all comes down to the brains and the confidence and how they are on the field, because obviously all these guys have talent. All of them do to get drafted. They have the talent to be a good QB. So it comes down to the brain. And they really like him in Cincinnati, and the players like him. I think that's what's surprised. The players are talking him up. And I don't think they're just doing that to scare other teams or blow smoke up their QB's rear end. They love him, and he feels good. I watch him on Instagram and stuff. He might even be a little bit on the arrogant side, but not like a Baker Mayfield. Not overboard. So
he's also, from what I hear, he's super accurate and super smart. He makes all the right reads. Seems like he's lining up to be a very professional quarterback. Right. Reminds me a lot of Drew Brees. That's why I picked him up. I'm going to play Mahomes every week, right? I don't have to worry. I need him 1 week. And by the time Mahomes has his bye in week 10, I believe, I mean, I could pick up anyone to play that 1 week if Joe Burrow doesn't work out. But as far as upside, Joe Burrow seemed to have the most upside. So I pulled your boy, Joe Burrow.
I hope so.
All right, so we saw the draft board. Like I said, I really like your team, Tony. What we're going to talk about now is we're going to do some bold predictions. We're going to do about 3 or 4 each of just massively bold predictions, and then we're going to look back at the end of the year and see how stupid we looked or how brilliant we looked, depending on how this goes. So I'm going to start with you. Give me a bold prediction, and it can be anything from a player, their fantasy performance, to a team, how far they're going to go, or whatever you want. What's your first bold prediction?
All right. I'm going to give you 2 because they're on the same team.
Sounds good.
This is crazy, and you're going to laugh your tail off. 2 seasons ago, there were numbers coming out of Los Angeles that were insane. And we got to see some big games out of these players. And I think they are going to be huge, though I do not even have them on my squads. I think Robert Woods is going to be top 10, and I think Cooper Kupp's going to be a couple right behind him. I think they're going to knock some people out of the water. I think Rams are in the same boat, not because I'm a semi-Ram fan. They're going to be going off. They don't have a choice either. They looked amazing 2 years ago. Last year, they nosedived, and I think they're going to be throwing the ball in the air again. Throwing the ball in the air, that's normally what they do. Mm-hmm. Bombing it is what I like to say. And I think Cooper Kupp's going to be there for some shorter ones. I think Robert Woods is going to go longer, or even vice versa. I don't know how they're doing it, and I don't even care. Top 10, both of them.
I like Robert Woods a lot. I actually agree with you. I think Robert Woods will finish in the top 10. Cooper Kupp is very dependent on whether the Rams run the 12 set or not. If they run the 12 set, he's not going to be on the field as much, and that will limit his opportunity. But if they don't, and they go back to the way they've run it most of the last few years, then Cooper Kupp, as long as he stays healthy, is also possibly a top 10 receiver. So that's not that much of a stretch. I like that a lot. Those are good predictions. So I'm going to give you my number one bold prediction, and thank God I drafted this guy in my last draft the other night. Patrick Mahomes is going to set the NFL record for passing touchdowns with 56 touchdowns this year. What do you think of that?
Highly possible. Highly possible.
If anyone could do it, it's Patrick Mahomes. If he does do it, my team looks pretty damn good, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. It doesn't hurt me too much either, having Kelsey.
Right.
I mean, okay, I'm going to go off on a tangent. You asked me a question, but do you not think that they are one of the most dynamic offenses? Like, who do you even compare them to? I think they're really that good. I mean, you look at all those weapons and Mahomes behind them. Oh, my God. I don't think you're right. It could be 56 easy.
First of all, the only thing I can compare them to is about 5 years ago, the Denver Broncos with Peyton Manning. Because of the weapons, Peyton Manning had so many weapons, and they added Wes Welker from the Patriots. Right. And then that, to me, was like, that's the final straw. By adding Wes Welker and having that check down over the middle, that opens up the rest of the guys for Manning. Manning set the record, and I had him, and it was great. But I think Patrick Mahomes is even more dynamic than Peyton Manning. He's more talented than Peyton Manning. He's got a better deep ball. He can run. And that's why I'm like, this guy, with the weapons he has, he's going to put together a season, and it's going to be soon. It might be this year. It might be next year. But he's going to set NFL records. I'm just waiting for it. So I was happy to get him. Give me your next bold prediction, Tony. What do you got?
My next bold prediction, we've already kind of talked about it. I'm going all over I don't know. I'm really on the wide receiver board this year. I think there's a lot of wide receivers that disappointed last year. Mm-hmm. So I'm going Juju, and I think he's going to be a 4 or 5 kind of guy.
Like a wide receiver 4, you mean? Somewhere at the top 5? Okay.
Yes, in the top 5. I think it's going to be Juju. Some people might say, yeah, okay, possibility for sure. But I just believe it, and I just don't see how it's not going to happen unless somebody gets injured. He was 2 years ago, so he's going to be this year with a healthy QB.
I like that a lot. I'm big on Juju. I love that guy. I think he's a stud. Didn't he catch like 100 and some odd balls just 2 years ago?
Yeah.
He did have Antonio Brown on the other side, but now he's got Deontay Johnson, who I think is kind of a clone to Antonio Brown. I think that's going to be my next guy, as a matter of fact. I got 2 guys that I'm huge on. I did not get Deontay Johnson in any league, but I'm predicting 1,000 yards and at least 70 catches for that guy. I think he's a stud, and he's going to break out, and he's going to finish in the top 10. My other guy that I think is going to finish – I actually have 2 more guys that are going to finish in the top 10. The Browns, A.J. Brown, Marquise Brown. I think they're both set to go ballistic. I think Marquise Brown reminds me a lot of Tyke Hill with that speed and that jukiness. I think he's going to catch about 10 touchdowns. And I think A.J. Brown is going to be a beast for the Titans. I actually think he's going to end up number 1 in our league, and that's why I got him in every league possible. What do you think? Are those too outlandish, or am I on the button there?
I definitely agree with you with A.J. Brown. You saw the signs last year, and there was a really good a good mix between him and Tannehill, and they're just going to continue it. And now I think that with their situation, I always go with that, like, not underdog thing, but they got something to prove. And I'm saying that about every player and every team that failed at the very last minute, and Titans were one of them. They didn't fail per se; they were impressive, but they could have gone farther, and they got something to prove. And Tannehill and Brown are going to be money.
I think between the two of us, we pretty much already put our top 10 receivers out there.
Right.
So, and we've already discussed a quarterback in Mahomes. Do you have any bold predictions for the running back position this year? I'm curious.
For the running back position, and when you mean bold, I can go anywhere, like
whatever you want.
Looking at, say, rookies or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what, dude? I don't really, but I kind of have a feeling that Jonathan Taylor, I like him. I wouldn't say he's incredible as some of the other, I shouldn't say as fast as some of the rookies, or however you want to judge him. I was just watching some tape 2 weeks ago, and I like the way his what do you want to call it, his character and his presence is on the field. Again, going back to the whole confidence thing and him paying attention, getting the plays. I think he's going to be excellent. I'm not going to go as far as saying he's going to be in the top 5, but one of those rookies that's going to impress and maybe take over that full-time starting position, which may hurt you. I don't know. I forget about your draft picks, but I
have Marlon Mack, but that's okay.
I like Taylor.
All right, so if you had to choose one of the rookie running backs this year, which one is going to lead our league in points in fantasy of all the rookie running backs? Which one would you say right now? Is it Jonathan Taylor?
I think it's Hilaire.
You think it's Hilaire? Okay.
Yeah, he's just too smooth out there.
I would agree. Yeah, that's pretty chalky, so I would totally agree with that. All right, so here's my bold prediction at the running back position. I'm a huge fan of Derrick Henry. The Titans figured out how to use that guy going down the stretch last year that basically propelled them to that huge run into the playoffs. And I think that's going to continue. I don't see it another way for them to win. The path to win for them is to hand the ball to freaking Derrick Henry and even throw him the ball in screens and let him be. He's fast. He's big. I'm predicting a 2,000-yard rushing season for Derrick Henry. Am I nuts?
Ooh. It's highly possible if you look, like you said, if you look at the end of the season, as long as he stays healthy, highly, highly possible. They've also have been working on his catching ability. That might take away from some of his rushing yards, but it's not going to take away from his total yards. So, yeah, the guy's awesome. The only thing I could see is sometimes those big guys like that do get a little bit banged up. So other than that, 2,000 yards, who knows? That is a bold prediction.
Now, 2,000 yards should make him the number 1 running back, but I still think he'll finish behind McCaffrey because McCaffrey will catch 100 balls and get touchdowns and rushing yards and all the good stuff. So it's going to be tight between those two. I'm not sure who will finish first, but man, I think Derrick Henry's going to have a big season.
I hope so.
Did you have any more bold predictions?
Do you have any more bold predictions?
Did you think of any other?
I think, and this sounds like a bold prediction, going back to Cincinnati, again, not just because I'm a fan. There's a few predictions out there. They're going to win 5, win 6. I actually think they're going to be 500 ballers. They're going to win at least 8 games. I know that doesn't sound like much, but when you're coming from Cincinnati, that's huge, especially with a rookie QB and a young coach. With the emergence of Burrows and the new coach is kind of getting accustomed to his players, it seems like they are growing as a team and a family over there. So I predict them 8, maybe 9 wins. That's my bold prediction. And next year, make the playoffs.
8 wins or 9 wins this year might actually make the playoffs.
It's good, especially if
They could sneak in. So I like that prediction a lot. So at the tight end position, did you have anybody, like if you had to choose who's going to finish top 5 at tight end that didn't like finish in the top 15 or 20 last year, who would you select?
It didn't last year?
Yeah, someone that will come out of nowhere this year at the tight end position and finish in the top 5.
I like Noah Fant.
Nice.
You like him?
I do.
And now he's probably, with what you were just discussing, I mean, he might get more balls now if it goes down properly for him. But I love that guy. I think he could finish 5 easy. And like most tight ends, big and strong, good hands, the ones that are in the 1 through 5 positioning list. I love Noah Fant.
I do. I like Noah Fant. He's one of 3 guys that I think are going to finish in the top 10 that didn't last year. Evan Ingram, Noah Fant, Tyler Higbee. Those are my 3 tight ends I was trying to target in every draft. I also like Hunter Henry. That guy never stays healthy, though, so I'm not – and Tyrod Taylor, he's not Phillip Rivers. He's not going to check down to the tight end as much. So I'm not sure if he'll sneak into the top 10, but I do like Hunter Henry. What do you think?
Yeah. Hunter Henry's – how many games has he missed? Like something's always going on with him.
He's missed more games than he's played. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. And then Evan Ingram, we've seen so many flashes of brilliance from him. He has been hurt also, but with Danny back there, I think that they're going to put something together. I definitely like him. Mm-hmm. And Higbee looked great at the end of last season. Guy looked awesome. I had other people asking me like, hey, I need guys that play head-to-head, and there are some buddies in Ohio. And I was calling everybody, like, get Higbee now for your playoffs. Get him.
Yeah.
And they did well with him. So, yeah, I like what you said.
All right, last question of the night. Who are your Super Bowl picks? I want to know who is going to play in the Super Bowl, Tony. Who against who?
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Same 2 teams as last year.
Same 2 teams as last year. Really?
That should be more of my bold pick, right?
That's a bold pick.
I mean, first of all, there's 99% chance that KC is going back. I think it's going to kind of fall the way it did before with the 49ers. I mean, I think that are they the best? Not really. But I think it's going to be a very similar turn of events as last season. That's how I think. And maybe it's more like hopefulness because I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it again.
That'd be great. Mine's going to go a little different. I do like the Chiefs, obviously, but because it's so chalky, I'm going to go with the Ravens to make the Super Bowl. Yeah. I think the Ravens are going to get another chance at them in the playoffs. And I don't know, something's going to happen. They're going to get lucky and they're going to win and make it to the Super Bowl. And I think they're going to play the New Orleans Saints. The Saints have had some really awful luck in the playoffs where weird things happen on last plays of the game and crap like that, and they find ways to lose. I think this year, with the addition of Emmanuel Sanders, it gives them a little bit more consistency at the wide receiver position to help out Michael Thomas. I think they'll spread out the ball just a little bit more, make the offense more dynamic. Kamara's healthy, hopefully. And I think they're going to get over the hump and meet the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl. All right, so who's going to win?
Who's going to win?
Mm-hmm. In your matchup.
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
It's inevitable.
I'm going to go with New Orleans. And here's the last bold prediction. After the Super Bowl, Drew Brees is going to retire.
Wow.
He's going to go out on top. That's my boldest prediction of them all. Are you writing it down?
Mark it down.
Nice.
Well, I should put the time down too, or at least this is being recorded. So
this is documented. It's going to be on YouTube, so we can go back and laugh at ourselves later on this year.
The only thing I'll say is, is it unbelievable? No, it's highly, again, famous last words, highly possible. But I could see if he does win the Super Bowl, that he would definitely hang up his hat. I could see that.
Yeah. I hope he does too, because I'm a huge fan of Drew Brees. He's my favorite. Yeah, him and Manning are my favorite 2 quarterbacks of all time. I think Patrick Mahomes is getting close, though, man. Love that guy.
He's exciting.
All right, so speaking of Patrick Mahomes, he's about to play in 10 minutes, so I'm going to let you go, Tony. Appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Thank you.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. We do this every weekend on the Fantasy Sports Island. Aloha.
Aloha.
Take it easy, Tony.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you, sir.
All right, man. See ya.
Bye.